Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar today. We're ready to have some fun times ahead in the next 50 minutes or so because I've got a great topic for you today, and I know that's why you're listening in, called the number one emotion that stops you from losing weight. It's an exciting topic and something that by the end of this you'll have all the answers you need to be able to get rid of the emotion that's causing those issues around losing weight. My name is Leanne Sklavenitis, and I'm here to help you. I've been in the health and fitness industry for quite a long time. So here we go with some great information. If you want to find out a little more about me, there's my website link on the page there in front of you. So let's get rolling into it. So who am I? My background, I've come from being a personal trainer, group fitness instructor in the industry for over 25 years, having won some fitness awards along the way. And I these days do a lot of speaking internationally, as well as written 3 books. Speaking is all over the place, and I do a lot of webinars now because I'm passionate and wanting to be able to help people to be fit and healthy no matter where they live. I'm also a business owner, run my own business for some years now, and like to spread some inspiration along the way. And that's a little bit about me. So let's get into about you and why you decided to spend the time to listen in today on this webinar. Where are you at in your life is probably the question to ask. Are you happy? Are there things that you're not, is not going your way? You could be running a business or your personal life. And generally, could you ask yourself the question, could you be fitter, healthier, and wanting to achieve more things in life? And I'll come up with some answers for you today to bring you to a better lifestyle and something that I love doing myself. So I thought, well, let's get rolling here. You might want to take some notes or this is a little bit of a quiz for you. So you may want to put together and grab a pen and a pad for today as I go through some of these things. But before we get into that real emotion about weight loss, I thought it was a good idea to even run a bit of a quiz and ask the question of the people listening in, some top 9 health and fitness questions. And let's see how you go, because this is a really good indicator, I guess, of how you are, what makes up a good lifestyle and a healthy day. So the first one is, and we all know these, but let's get down to the nitty gritty about first things first, drinking water. So if you think about, no matter what time you're listening in, morning or night on this, how much water are you actually drinking per day? The recommended that we look at is 1 litre per 30 kilo or 66 pounds of body weight. So if you calculate that for a minute, just see and have a think, how much are you actually drinking? Can you give yourself a tick to say that you've even had, at least 8 glasses of water a day? And if that's not you, we need to look and say, hey, that's one thing we could fix immediately. The second question to ask, the second question of the quiz is, how well are you actually sleeping? And if you looked back in the last week or so, are you actually sleeping a minimum of 6 hours without interruption or waking? Obviously, if you have small kids, that may not work or be, you're not going to be able to do that. But think about that. Are you waking up during the night? Are you getting uninterrupted sleep? Because if you're not sleeping well, these sorts of things are not going to help on a weight perspective. The third one on our health and fitness quiz is, have you eaten breakfast? Sounds like a corny one. We all know it's something we should do, and eating breakfast is still the number one thing to helping set us up for the day, have some great energy, get us rolling and into the things that we want to do for our day. And for everyone, that's different. And things like, adding some protein, even some good porridge. So we need some carbs. We need some great fuel to set us up for the day. So can you tick yes to eating breakfast on a regular basis, not just today or yesterday? Number 4 is exercise, the good old E word, which we either love or hate. But can I ask the question, have you done, in the last week, have you exercised at least 20 minutes of some sort of exercise at least 4 times a week, 3 to 4? And if you can't do that or tick off on that, then perhaps it's something that you need to be doing. Even if it is only 20 minutes, it's still going to be of benefit to you. So keep in mind, exercise is going to be crucial to helping you. Next one on our quiz, number 5. Do you actually organize your day on a regular basis without rushing or stressing? And I think the question you can ask yourself is, yes, we all need to have a little bit of, we do have the run around and that here and there. But if you are in a constant mayhem as far as your day, rushing from one thing to another, which will obviously lead and cause some constant stress, then you need to have a little think about how you can potentially change that up. It'd be great if you could spend a moment on, like the frog on the lily pad and just, take a breath without having to run around all the time. So next one on our quiz. Now that number 6 is, can you honestly say that you have taken 5 deep breaths today? And I guess not just today, but every day. We obviously are breathing and we wouldn't be alive. But the real question I want you to have a think about while you're sitting here, even while you're listening into this webinar, can you actually say that on a regular basis you can sit back, sitting upright, shoulders back, and taking a huge, nice deep breaths in and out through your lungs, through your nose? Because those deep breaths help to calm you and also give you some internal energy. So you might think about doing that not only when you're at work, but even when you're driving. And instead of doing that rush around thing, take a breath and, make them some real deep ones and make them count. It's going to be critical. So how are we going so far, I wonder? Heading into number 7. Can honestly say that you have not had one negative thought about how you look today? Can you honestly say that you haven't done that? And, it'd be interesting. There isn't too many people out there. I've helped a lot of clients over the years, and many of them spend most of their days with negative thought patterns, not only about what they're doing, but how they look and feel. And this is something, if this is something that you do a lot of, then this webinar and moving forward is going to give you some great tips on how to stop that worry, that frantic and those negative thoughts that hold you back from what you want to achieve. Number 8. Next question here. Have you not had one negative thought about how others look? So it's not about how you feel, but how you think, or how you're thinking about how others look. Is that something that you'd spend a lot of time doing, analyzing, worrying about or saying how good other people are, and in turn actually negatively putting yourself down? If that's something that you're doing, that is actually sabotaging you from, many of your goals that you may have, not only in your own personal life, your business, but your relationships too. So have a think about that one and see whether you're doing a lot of that. Our last question that we need to ask, and it's always a big one, is number 9. Are you totally happy with your weight? Can you honestly look at yourself in the mirror and say, yep, I'm feeling really good. I'm really happy with how I look and feel, what I weigh. Is that something that you can say absolutely yes? And if not, then let's chat further on that. So how did you go? Looking back over these 9 slides or the 9 questions, can you honestly say, yes, I could give myself a big tick on all those 9 questions? Yes, I'm doing all the right things on your health and fitness. And they're the basic ones. If you ticked all of those, then I can honestly say you probably don't need to continue listening to this webinar. If not, if there was quite a few that you said, no, that's me, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, then time to listen up for what I'm about to share now. Let's go. So, is this you? let's ask a few questions of yourself. And while you're listening in, have a little think about and ask the question, is this you? Have you been exercising? And you may exercise quite regularly. Are you eating pretty well? But that weight just doesn't seem to budge. So you seem to be stuck in a bit of a rut. You may have lost a little bit, but really just not getting where you want to be. This emotion, can hold you back in everything in your life, not just your weight, your business, but your relationships. So what do you think the number one emotion is that can stop you from losing weight? Are you ready? Yes, it is resentment. The number one emotion that stops you from losing weight is resentment. And when you ask and look at what in the definition, Wikipedia says this, resentment is a mixture of disappointment, anger, and fear. And it continues on to say that as the surprise of injustice becomes less frequent, so too does anger and fear fade, but it leaves you disappointment as the predominant emotion. So, and a great quote that I found was, resentment is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. And do you really think that's going to happen? It's a huge, huge emotion. And with many clients over the years, it is something that is built up in them so huge that has held them back in moving forward on anything, not only from a weight loss perspective, but on their own self-worth, their own ability to do the things that they want to do in life. So really ask yourself the question, is this something that you have a lot of? What sort of types of resentment are there? And I think, there can be different types, of course. You could be in a job where, in a work environment where you don't get praise for what you do, whereas other person in your work team may, be rewarded for certain things. You don't get the praise even though you're working just as hard as them. Even in your own personal relationships is a big one. You may be resenting certain behavior that other family members, your own partner, could be showing towards you. And I guess the big one is food. And so many clients that I've had over the years have had built up such a resentment around the food that they're eating, that even though they try and eat the right things, can give them the best food plan in the world, but ultimately they're actually not making a huge amount of progress because we have to deal with that inbuilt emotion that is basically holding them back. And I found a fantastic quote here from Dale Carnegie, an American, and he said, "Our fatigue is often caused not by work, but by worry, frustration, and resentment." And if you think about it, it can basically, when it internalizes like that, it can hold you back from so many things, causing frustration, worry. You have no energy to do anything, and if it consumes you like that, it is impossible. I believe it's impossible to move forward on anything. So how do we turn all this around? And if you've discovered that is you, and this is one of the big things that's holding you back from where you want to be and where you want to go, just to give you a bit of an idea, with some of the programs and the clients that have been on my programs over the years, we focus and we help them around the food and obviously exercise and build that into their day. In a way that's easy and achievable, simple baby steps. But the biggest thing that we cover and that I help clients with is the mindset. And that mindset, and that's again covering their self-worth, their what negative emotions they're having, which obviously includes resentment towards their food and their life in general. Some of the clients that I've had include, 30 kilo weight loss and kept it off for over 4 years now. Do you think they're not a happy client? And it's not just about the weight. I've had clients who lose 15 kilo, 7 kilo, 8 kilo, plus more, that I could go on and on about. However, the biggest achievement that all of these clients were able to do was they took a bit of a breath around what was holding them back from losing the weight. And it wasn't about, yes, we know we need to eat right, we know we need to exercise, but they don't like that. And we change it around so they like to do these things, incorporate it into their lifestyle, and basically gave them a positive mindset to want to do these things for life. And how good does it feel knowing that you're on a good path, there's no hard things to do, you're on a daily habit of doing all the right things and feeling good about it. And that's ultimately what we want. So through connecting with me, I'm going to be actually offering you some unique ways that is going to help you make a difference in your life. Everyone is at a different spot. Might just have some issues around the food and their resentment towards it. Some people might resent exercise. You either love it or hate it. But there are ways to help all of you out there. And I'm going to give you some tips on it. So which one of these can you actually relate to? Do you exercise continually and have no weight loss or very little? Do you not exercise at all and don't lose any weight at all? Or have you been a yo-yo dieter for many years? And I've had many clients come on board with me who have been on the yo-yo of dieting for so many years, they actually don't know anything else. And, they might have actually lost no weight, or, of course, they do lose some weight and then gain it all back. And that is so frustrating, disappointing. And, of course, you can imagine the resentment bank that they have actually accrued internally. And we break it down one by one and help them to get that, release that, so that then they can move forward, feel good, lose weight, and never have to diet again. And if that's something that's you and that's what you're about, well, let's give you the tips on what to do, or some of them today. Do you eat like a rabbit? Do you pick the salad when in fact, you're out at restaurants and you want to lose weight, you have to pick the things with the less calories. You go, really, you pick some salad when all you wanted was the hamburger and chips or some other interesting food item on the menu which had some sauce or something that you shouldn't have. But you pick the salad anyway and then think after, I really didn't want that, but I ate it anyway, and you don't even enjoy it. Food that you can't stand, but it's good for you. Is this you? Think about that for a minute, and how many times you may have been out for a restaurant or a family gathering or with friends and tried to do the right thing, and then again you did. Resentment builds and builds and builds to the point that it eats at you, and then you go, well, stuff it all, and you just eat what you want, and then we're back to that vicious circle of putting on weight yet again. Or maybe for you it's the exercise. How many clients I've had that absolutely can't stand exercise, but they do it because the doctor told them to, because they had to, or else, it was basically a life or death sentence for them. They start at the gym, go crazy for a few weeks, and then give up. Is this you? Is this something that you have tried and given up, wasted money, over and over, repeat the cycle? You find it too hard to keep going, you lack motivation after a very short time. How many clients I've had no motivation at all to do anything? Or worse, I've even had some clients who unfortunately got injured from, trying to go too hard, too fast, too soon, and unfortunately were injured, and then at a point they weren't able to do a thing, and went back 5 steps again. And how do you think, clients, and how will you feel when this happens? You feel resentful, disappointed, angry, frustrated, and just generally peed off. So time to, I've got one word for you on that, and here it comes. Stop. We have to stop. We have to get you off that bandwagon, off that cycle, and just start to break down that resentment bank and start to enjoy your life again. So as of right this minute, let's just stop. Take a deep breath for a second and decide, yes, I'm over this. I'm going to stop as of right now. And I'd love to see you put your hands up. If I could see you, I'd love to see it. But hands up, stop, this is it. So what can we do about it? Time to get excited. Because resentment triggers a lot of chemical reactions in your body. Every system in your body can affect your ability to lose weight. And, a great quote, the elimination diet. Remove anger, regret, resentment, guilt, blame, and worry. Then watch your health and your life improve. So the only diet you should even be thinking of when it comes to elimination is actually eliminating these emotions. How cool would you feel if you had said, I have no anger, no regret, no resentment, no guilt on anything, blame nobody, and not worry about a thing? How do you think you would feel? I would say you'd feel pretty cool. And imagine what can happen when you change up the chemical reactions in your body from, instead of anger, you're feeling positive, you're feeling happy, not worrying about anything. What a good feeling that would be. And then watch your health and your life improve and watch yourself lose weight. Here are the facts with what happens. This could be you. We're full of toxins. The older we get, the more we pick up. We don't properly absorb or digest our food. We often eat too fast. How many of you actually sit in front of the TV or some sort of technology and eat without actually thinking about the food you're eating? If you can put your hand up to that, then you need to take a break and stop. Allow yourself to enjoy your food. Things start, your adrenals can burn out. Your thyroid could even be sluggish. Your liver can be overworked if we're not eating the right things. The good old sex hormone can become irregular and deficient. And the biggest one, you hang on to resentment and you won't let it go. So really, see how your body can cause so many issues with all of this going on. Wouldn't it be great to release it all? When you build up all these resentment, anger, and sadness, it's so bad for your system. And then, as I've mentioned, we emotionally eat and basically beat ourselves up. A great slide, and Buddha actually quoted, I love this, was holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else, but instead you are actually the one that gets burnt. Are you the one carrying all the frustration and the resentment? If that's you, time to put the hot coal down. This is a bit of a wordy slide, but you're hanging on to resentment and won't let go of the past. Is this you? It's not enough to just detox your body to lose weight if you aren't going to detox your mind. So we're talking around releasing our mind and fueling it with good things. Holding on to old anger and sadness causes heaviness in your body and you will stagnate. When your emotions are not expressed or processed, they are stored. Just like chemical toxins stored in the fat cells, toxic thoughts are no different. Just releasing this process can literally help you feel and be lighter. And that's not even talking about changing up what we're eating or doing. It's just focusing on our mindset. So what do we do? Here's the exciting part. We know all the things that are going on, and I'm sure you can have actually identified with it, with some of these things. Here's what to do. The time to start, first of all, is now, right now. The first thing we need to do is to get over the resentment that you have. How do we do that? The second is to change your beliefs over exercise, food, and ultimately your whole life. And the way we do that is through positive affirmations and working on it constantly on your mindset. Because if we can add certain positive things to our life through internal affirmations, and I'll give you some idea, I've got some great ideas on that, you will feel lighter, more like happier, more energetic. And you know what? It's just like a balloon. And sometimes you even need to do this visually and actually blow a balloon up, go outside in the yard and just watch it go. And write the word resentment on it. You might have certain things that are causing that resentment. You might actually write those things on that balloon. So there might be 10 of them, there might be 12, there might be more. Write them all on there, write them all on the balloons, and then just allow them to release away and relieve yourself of those emotions. That's just the start. Some other cool things to take on around mindset, which will help you, is to think of your mindset is really the foundation. I like use a few pictures to help you to understand about the importance of this, to help you to get where you want to be. The mindset is the foundation of any building, which is your body. The walls are the movement, which is your exercise, and your nutrition, which is your food. But ultimately, the mindset is the foundation, and once you're feeling happy about that, you incorporate the exercise, you know it's good for your body, you eat well because we need to fuel ourselves like a car, and then ultimately the roof on top are the results that you achieve. So think of your body as, the house. You want a stable environment, you want a nice, strong home. So some other cool statements are, you can't get to a place that you don't believe exists. So if I honestly asked you the question, do you believe that you can actually release this resentment? Is this possible? And is it something that you really want to do? Have a think about that for a minute. It may be one thing at a time. If you have a huge resentment bank built up on many situations, or even around food, you have to start with one thing at a time, just one, and decide, okay, how are we going to do that? And I'll give you some examples on picking one thing at a time. It's not that some people have willpower and some don't. It's just that some people are ready to change and others are not. So the question I ask is, are you ready to make the change now? And I hope that you are, because you will feel so much better for that. So ask yourself this: are you a positive or a negative thinker? Do you learn about and change how you think? And think about these quotes. Positive people are more successful. Do you believe that? Do you know anyone negative that is actually very successful? Have a think about that. A man and woman is but the product of his or her thoughts. What he or she thinks, he or she becomes. And Mahatma Gandhi said that quote. And I think it's a fantastic quote. If you think about all the positive people that you know around, that you happen to know, how good are they? Do you want to be surrounded by them? Do you love spending time with them? Or what about the negative people in your life? I'm sure you can immediately think of one or two. And, do you try to get them off the phone as often as you can? Because ultimately, they bring you down. So who are you? What are you like when you speak with people? And a great person, Zig Ziglar, I urge you to get on board with any of the information. You can Google him and find him. He has some great personal development quotes and ideas around being positive and, improving yourself as a person. He says that positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. And I firmly believe that that's the case. So whereabouts are you? If you honestly had to think on a scale of positive and negative on how you are in your daily life, are you negative? You always think, no, it would never happen, and you say, no, can't do this, won't happen, no, that won't work. Or are you realistic to think, oh, well, it could happen? Or are you on the other end of the scale, the positive? It will happen. I can do anything. Yes, I can do this. I'm going to change as of now. I know that I can do this. Whereabouts are you sitting? So just a quick slide around what you think what we think we are, because delving into mindset can be quite tricky. If we put up a map of the brain and the chemical reactions and things that go on, our brain is amazing. But have a think around what positive thinking is about. We start with thoughts, and what we think determines what we believe. So then that leads to our belief, and what we believe determines how we will feel. Then we have the feelings. The way we feel will influence how we're going to act. And then there is the actions that actually, that's then what you actually do. So look what goes on inside your brain, from thoughts to beliefs to feelings to the actual action that you take. It's quite a long process. So if we can trigger up and change up some of our negative thoughts to positive, then our beliefs will be strong, our feelings will be great, and we will only do great actions for moving forward on where you want to be in life. You can't live a positive life with a negative mind. So a little bit of an idea around what to do and how to change that. How do we turn our negative thoughts into positives? The first thing is actually to be aware of it. I actually ask clients to write a bit of a stress diary if that's where they're at. They may know straight away what resentment they hold, what stress they hold, what negative thinking they have, or you may not even be aware of what it is. So writing up a bit of a diary around it, or being aware of that process and writing it, hey, at this time of the day, this happens, and this really starts off a negative chain of thoughts. So have a think about that. And I urge you to go ahead and have a look at it. What does it look like for you? Another fantastic guy to look up, Dr. Martin Seligman, is one of America's most influential psychologists. He looks at the impact of how your life can be from being pessimistic to optimistic and the differences on that. So if you get an opportunity to do a little bit more homework into looking around some of these people that have done some fantastic things, that would be a good idea. So the key is, once we identify what our negative thoughts are, so you could have a really negative thought about not exercising, for example, and go, you know what, I don't want to go to the gym. I know I should go, but I don't want to go. The kids are always whatever, that. So how do we turn it? I just run out of time. How do you change it to a rational thought? So it could be, look, I know the kids take up my time, but I will block out, I will see if I can block out some time to exercise. And then turn it into a positive thought. And that positive thought being, yes, I'm picking this day at this time and I'm going to get to the gym and I'm going to do a workout, or I'm going to do a 20-minute walk. And you make it a positive thing, because you know, if I go and do that, it's time for me. It will help me look after my body. I will feel good about myself. And that's a good way to do it. So take a look at all your negative thoughts and don't do them all at once. Negative, resentment. What's the one thing that you would like to work on now to change that up? If you can identify that, try and rationalize it. Bring it back into, okay, take the emotion out, look at it rationally. If I was able to change that one thing into a positive, how could I do that? One thing at a time. A bit of a wordy slide, but it's starting to give some tips around the continual process of that. Because the higher your self-esteem, the more effective your positive thoughts and affirmations will be. And I'd like to urge you to write down some affirmations, which are, they're very effective. And when you start positive thinking, and even adding some goal setting techniques, which is a whole nother webinar again, which, if you come on board with me, I've got heaps of information around that. All of these techniques will help stop the resentment bank, build up or release some negative, come to the positive, write some great positive affirmations, and set some awesome goals, which will lead you on the forward path to success. Affirmations work great along with visualization. So instead of just picturing the change you'd like to see, we also say it out loud with a positive affirmation. Affirmations are useful when you set personal goals. Once you've identified goals you'd like to achieve, you can use the positive affirmations to help keep yourself motivated in order to achieve them. Affirmations are one of the best things you can do for writing them down about changing it from a negative through to a positive. Short statements. My own daughter actually had trouble passing exams at school or tests because suddenly when she was under a time constraint, she was a grade A student, great at everything, but when it came to exams, she struggled because suddenly the time clock flipped her out. So we had to do something about it. So we got out some cards and wrote some positive things. I will get an A from my exam. I will go answer all questions without stressing. And those constants, she used to read it on the bus, during the day, and even at night. And just those few times a day, in a short couple of months, we were able to change that around. Can you write down, I look fantastic. I will look in the mirror and love myself. Put that affirmation and put it on your mirror and read it to yourself and believing it. They're the sort of things we have to start to do as far as affirmations go to take away some resentment and build up some positive statements. We want to overcome the negative thinking and the self-sabotage and the resentment. Short, positive statements that will help to target your behavior in certain things that you're really struggling with. What is that? What area of your life would you like to change? What do you need to work on? What will you start with? So for each of these little negative things, resentment things, steps, how can you change it round to a positive statement that you can repeat several times a day? And it's going to take a little bit of time to think about that. But you focus on it, believe it. It's got to be credible and based on a realistic assessment of fact. It's got to be realistic. After all, you can't believe the affirmations you're repeating to yourself. If you can't believe that, then, it's hard to have an impact. 2 important things I would do. Vision board. Vision board, you might have it on your fridge. You might have it as a screensaver on your computer, your iPhone, and it's pictures of where you want to be, how you look like, what you want to do. I have a picture of a girl that looks pretty cool, but I've cut her head off. And that, I don't even know who it is, but I cut it out and it sticks up because I resonate with that body because I love to work out and feel good for myself. So that I look at it constantly and believe that I can achieve that. So what are you going to put up? What pictures are you going to have on your vision board? I've found this very powerful with clients and it's made such a difference to many of them. So start changing up, turning around the resentment and putting up the positive vision, mission, words, pictures, all of those things. Goals are really big. And if you hook in, I'll have another webinar around goals. Because if you set achievable goals that you're looking forward to, it will make such a difference. We need to focus on something that we can achieve. And to get rid of resentment banks, we need to come up with a positive, move forward and say, well, hey, where am I going with my life? What am I doing? What do I want to achieve? And the way to do that is with goals. So here's a couple of statements. Remember this, resentment hurts you, not them. You're the one suffering when it becomes to being resentful. So think of this as a great positive one. I release resentment and let it go. The past has no power over me. You could break that up 2 separate sentences and just read one and read it over and over and the second one as well, because you may resonate with one more than another or both. So these are just a couple of examples. Some other really cool tips for you. You may decide which ones of these are handy for you. Some ideas on how to create a positive mindset. How do you boost your motivation? Never compare yourself with other people. This is probably the one thing that we do, and I asked, that was one of the questions in my earlier quiz in the webinar was, do you compare yourself with others? It only makes you feel bad. Focus on your good qualities, what you have to offer to the world. If you don't think you have any good qualities, join a club or a team, do things that you love and that you're passionate on. This will help to give you a talent that you're really proud of. So many clients don't even know what they're passionate on and what they love doing. So you may need to sit down after this webinar and decide, what do you love doing? Because if you're not doing that, you will build a resentment around that if you're not doing what you love. Tell yourself that most things are possible if you try hard enough. Set your goals, break them down, and focus on them, working towards reaching them. Keeping that positive vogue for moving forward is going to stomp down that resentment and will give you, you won't even feel resentful anymore. Talk to your friends and family. If you feel you don't have enough of something in your life, such as friends, make that a goal to find more. And we want to surround ourselves with positive people, right? Don't pick the ones that are always saying they're having a bad day. Who are the people in your life that always make you feel good? They're the ones that you want to hang around with. I put this one in, good health and hygiene strategies, and be proud of your appearance. Because I think, we have to walk out when we go out, down the street or whatever, and be happy and proud of how we look. It might just be as simple as doing your hair differently. I'm not saying go out and get a makeover, but just be, apply good health, look good, and feel good about yourself. Communicating is crucial. If someone makes you feel negative, try to tell them in a nice way, because quite often these people will continue on and bring you down. So try either one, not to surround yourself with them, or if they are a loved one or someone that is dear to you, you need to see if you can try and explain to them that what they're saying is hurting you, or could you please refrain from certain comments. Just have it out with them wherever you can. Don't let other people drag you down. What they say is always their opinion. Remember that, because how many clients I've had where they start losing weight, they start feeling good, and then they have family members or other friends saying, oh, you're not going to be able to keep that up. Or they make them, when they're at parties, I'll just have that bit of cake, have that biscuit or whatever, because they're the ones trying to lose weight. They're actually jealous that you're doing so well. Has that happened to you? So do whatever you need to do to make you happy. What makes you happy is the question. Do you really know? Smile. Smiling is actually proven to keep you happier when you're down and gloomy. So if you're feeling sad, smile. If you're happy, smile. It will help to make you a happier person, and everyone else around you will get a far better impression of you as a person if you smile. So that could even be one of your affirmations, right? I'm going to smile every day. I'm going to show gratitude every day. I'm going to thank people or do a good deed for someone, even if it's something small like holding open a door, anything. So these are just some of the things that you can do to stop, release your emotion and resentment, and start to lose weight and start to feel good for you. If you start on any of this information, on any of those little things, take some action, you will feel lighter and happier immediately. I've helped clients who have done that and can't believe that they lost weight, and they're like, but hang on, I haven't done anything yet other than feel better, like internally, and it's made such a difference. And, it's really turned their lives around, and that's why I love what I do. So what are you? Are you on the highway? Are you going to stay on the old you? Are you going to be a new you? What are you going to decide? Which exit, what part of the highway are you going to stay on? What you do today can improve all your tomorrows. I totally believe that. Crack yourself out of, an eggshell and just start the beginning of the new person. Start right now. As soon as this webinar's done, what are you going to do differently? But if you think, well, that's great, I've got some good tips and everything, but I think I need some more help. How can I continue on this path to, get where you want to be? Do you need constant motivation and positiveness? Well, guess what? The time is now, and I can help you. And here's how. We've got some things you can click on right now, that some programs that I have that will help you to start you immediately to move forward and to achieve what you want to do. And the thing I say is, like, do it now, because sometimes later never happens. And then I don't want you to regret the ability to feel good, no resentment, lose weight, feel lighter, have the life that you want. How could you say no to that? Think about what it would be worth to you. You know, how would you, what is it worth to feel better, to look better, and to be awesome? You know, what is that worth to you? What about the cost of stress when you're not having energy, you're getting sick regularly, you're on medication, you've got doctor's bills, all this is going on and you've just had enough? Are you constantly unhappy and want to change it? No energy to get through your day, and you're not living life to the fullest? Stop is what I say. What is all that worth to you? What would you pay? Would it be $500 a month? Would it be $400 a month? What is it worth? Have a think about that for a minute. So if you decide, yep, I'm ready to roll, I need help, I know I want to make a difference to my own life and I care about myself enough, then click on the links on the side here, because one small action is all it takes to change your life. And that's what I want to do to help you and all the people who forwarded this link onto other people. I want to help people to be the best they can be in life. And it doesn't matter where they live, because if one person is happier, then you know what? They've done my job, and then they help someone else. And I love to make it a snowball effect. So I hope you got some fantastic value from this webinar. You know, what's going to work for you? What action will you take? What is one thing you are going to do after listening in? Do it now. Don't delay. Choose what programs on offer, which I've got coming up. Click on the links. Choose what is best for you and just go for it. You know, don't stop. Do it. So here's the offers. Here they are. Take action. Stop and release your resentment. Feel lighter, happier, more energetic and positive, and don't look back. Look forward. And I applaud you for listening, to take out the time to listen to me on how I can help you. I'm excited for you and what you can achieve. Connect with me. My details are there. Leanne Sklevenidis. And I hope you got a lot from this. And I look forward to helping you. Don't delay. I'll see you soon.